Okay, hello. I'm going to talk about how I play Patchouli May by Bibio, specifically the VHS-C home recording version. There were a couple comments asking how to play it, so I was just going to make a video. That's what this is. I have chord shapes and tabs, so if tabs are better, you can just check the description. But I'm going to talk about a few things along with going through the song, so yeah. Also, I'm not the best player, so I'm going to be messing up, but what I have is accurate to the video, even if I mess up playing it. That's why I have tabs and all that, so that you can see what it's supposed to be without me goobing up. Sorry. Oops. That is the song. The song basically has two sections with smaller little groupings between them, but there's this whole thing, but then there's also this. And there are two picking patterns, one for each, except in the first section there's a little bit of a different thing on one of the shapes. But it starts right here. I don't think I'm going to have to name them because I'm going to edit in pictures of the shapes. But you play here real quick. I assign my thumb to the 5th and 6th string, and my ring finger to the 1st and 2nd string, and my middle to the 3rd and pointer to the 4th. So basically thumb on the bottom 2, ring finger on the top 2, and then pointer middle on the middle 2. So yeah, when you see that on the tabs, just know that on each of those strings, that's what finger is playing what. I think it's easiest that way. That's just how I learned it, but if something else works for you, then you can just do that. It doesn't really make a difference. But most of okay, this first shape is your thumb and your ring finger on the 1st string and your thumb on the 5th string, and then your pointer finger on the 4th string open, and then you go to the second shape, which is here, and then you kind of see one of the main picking patterns, which is your thumb on the 6th string along with your middle on the 3rd string. So it's thumb and middle at the same time, and then pointer, middle, ring on B, and then middle, and then pointer again. That happens a lot, but basically every time, except for when you're transitioning between sections, when you get back down to your pointer finger, you play it open to transition, and that's in almost the entire thing. It's the same thing here. Once you get back to your pointer, you play it open, so you have time to move, plus it just sounds interesting. So those are the first 3 shapes from here. And then after that it gets a little bit different. Then you have this thing, and you play your thumb on the 6th string and your middle on the 3rd string, and then your thumb on the 5th string, and then your middle again. And then you play your ring finger on the high E, and then back to your middle, thumb on the 5, and then it's your thumb and your ring on the second string, and then thumb on the fifth and your ring on the second again. So it's like this. And then after that, you play the fifth string open and then go back to this. So it's like this. Oops, I'll go slow. And then this time you do something a little bit different. You just go up to the 9th fret on the, what would that be, the 4th string? Yeah, the 9th fret on the 4th string, but because you have capo on 3, visually it's going to be the 12th fret, so it's a lot easier to think of it that way. And then you do the exact same picking pattern, including going open when you're back to your pointer finger. And then you do the same thing, but with the 2nd fret down here on the same string. But then when you get to your ring, then you restart. So that's just kind of a pickup thing because it's in 3/4, but there's like pickup beats. That's kind of what that is. And then you restart and you do that whole section again. So okay, I'm making the video, and at this part, I was making so little sense that I can't even figure out what the hell I was trying to say. So I'm just gonna re-record a little bit of it. So the first 8 bars. And then this, but that's the first 8 bars. I think what I was trying to say, or what I need to say now in order for it to make sense, is that you play those 8 bars again, except on the 7th bar, the second to last one, which was this. Instead of playing on the 9th fret, you play on the 5th fret. I think that's gonna make sense, hopefully. And so, sorry, I keep forgetting more things, but you play the first 8 bars, you play them again. The 7th bar is different, but so that becomes a 16 bar like phrase, and then you repeat those 16 bars second time. That whole section you play it twice, but then when you get from this, instead of stopping on your ring finger and going to this, you'll play the full picking pattern. So back down to your pointer finger the second time, but that's gonna be open. And then you go to the next section. The pattern is your thumb in your middle, then your pointer, your thumb on the 5th string, your ring finger, and then your middle, and then your pointer open to transition to the next thing. And the shapes are here, 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 and here. And you do that 4 times, but on the 4th time it's a little bit different, so it'll be like this. This is the 4th. Once you get to the second shape on the 4th repetition, you go back to this, which is one thing from the first section where you go back to the 9th fret on the 4th string. But you do it with the new picking pattern, so middle thumb, pointer, thumb on 5, ring, middle, and then pointer open. And then this shape, which is also the same. But you go to your ring finger. Sorry, it might be a little bit confusing. You go to your ring finger, and then I have tabs because I'm a little bit bad at explaining things. But you go back to this, and then on your ring finger you repeat again. So just to recap, the first section is like this. And then you play that twice. The first time you play that, you stop on your ring finger and then repeat. and then you play that whole section a second time, and then at the end of that, when you're back to this, you play back down to your pointer finger, the whole picking pattern, and then you go to this. And you play that 4 times, but on the 4th time, it's the same for the first 2 shapes, but then you go to this on the 9th fret of the 4th string again, but with the new picking pattern. And then the same, but on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. But when you get to your ring finger, you go back to this. But the second time, after the first section, where you play the first section twice and then go to the second section, you go back to the first section and you play it once and then the second section again. I'm trying to figure out a good way to describe it. I guess I'd say that the first section is an A section 2 times, and the second section is a B section once, and the third section is the A section 1 time, and the 4th section is the B section 1 time again. So if we're just dividing it in time, there's an A section and a B section, and you repeat them in a sequence. So that's what that would be. It'd be A, A, B, A, B. That's the best way I can think to describe it. And when you get to the final B section at the end of it, when you're back to this shape, on your 4th repetition where you go here, when you're at this for the last time, it's, and then you go middle pointer and then your thumb on the 6. And then that's the song, pretty much. I'm bad at explaining this kind of thing, so it might not have made sense. This is my first time doing this. So if you have questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to clear things up. But also there's tabs in the description, so you can have a look at that and hopefully just like follow along with it or put it in Guitar Pro and hear it so you know what it's supposed to sound like, because I might have missed some things or made some things unclear. But yeah, thanks for watching.